All right, we are live, you guys. Matt and Jen.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
I am so excited to chat with you guys today. And I just had to bring you on here and brag about you too. And I have to share with everyone your latest post, Matt. And I know, Jen, you have a similar story. So, you guys, I have to share this. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and show you this amazing post that Matt just made. Hold on just a minute. I'm building this up big. Okay, first flight in 25 years without a seatbelt extender. Holy cow, you two. I need to hear the backstory. Let I just want to hear from you guys, like just a little bit about this. Like, what did that tell us what happened?
So yesterday, we've been traveling a lot this last year for different conferences and personal development things. And we've traveled several times over the course of our marriage. And even before we got married, probably from the time I was about 17, 16-ish, I would always need to ask for a seatbelt extender. And it was something that made me uncomfortable because I was always concerned, am I going to interrupt or interfere with the person sitting next to me? Or I would be uncomfortable for a super long flight. And so it was always just kind of a discomfort thing to even have to bring that up. And so Jen and I actually were just talking just a second ago about it was almost kind of a shameful kind of a thing and kind of a hurt thing within ourselves or with myself. And so we would have to kind of do it. We wouldn't have to, but we would do it as we were getting on the plane. We'd try to grab one of the stewardess right there and say, hey, can you bring one of these over when you get a minute? And it was kind of an empowering thing yesterday well, at first it was kind of a terrifying thing because the stewardess was busy right there at the front of the plane and I wasn't able to catch one of them. And so I sat down and was going to just hit the call button like you do. And then I thought, well, a couple months ago, I was on a plane back in November to another event we went to, and I'm like, it almost fit. And I'm like, maybe I should just give it a shot. I had a goal this year of by the time we go on our next vacation in April of not needing one at all. And so I was kind of like terrified. I'm like, okay, is this just going to kind of put me in a tailspin as I'm going to a very important meeting for the weekend? Or not. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to try it. It's not really going to bug me. And it buckled right in and I had extra room in the thing. And I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, this is amazing. And I never really realized, that just how much it actually affected every part of my life by carrying the extra weight all of my life. I mean, I've been overweight forever. I mean, by the time I was 6 or 7, it just started coming on and never stopped. And so there's been things this last year that have just started to melt away. And obviously I'm melting away, but the mindset things and the disbelief and all of those are just like falling away too. And you have to catch yourself because you start going down that path of, oh, am I going to be comfortable? Is this going to be okay? I mean, I would limit myself from even going out to the movies at times because I wasn't going to fit in the seat correctly or feel like the same kind of thing on the plane. So it's letting down those walls and those things that I've built over the last 20 years of my life. And so the victory yesterday or the day before on the plane was just amazing. And I'm like, holy crap. And then I didn't get to book my own flights, which also scared me. This one was a company trip. And so I was in the center aisle or the center seat with 2 other people next to me, which I would have never allowed before. I would have changed flights. And so it was a total discomfort right out of the bat. And it was a quick turn and burn trip. So I was already just like a little stressed about it. And what I was going to meet on was stressful. And it was, so to have that victory as I sat down, buckled that seatbelt the other day and not even had to worry about it. And I was comfortable the whole time. And I didn't feel like I was messing with the people next to me. And it was actually enjoyable. And that was probably, I mean, I had a rough flight because it had huge turbulence at the end of that. So it kind of like ruined the whole experience there, but
there's always something, right?
Oh yeah, exactly. But it was a very liberating and very freeing kind of feeling. So it actually kind of pumped me up a little bit to go into this meeting that I was going to be a little tense about and a little unsure about. And And then of course you hit turbulence as you're starting to land and you start throwing up with everybody else on the plane. But it was
a lot of information.
It was an amazing trip, let me tell you.
You know,
Amazing.
while Matt was talking about that, I was thinking about the first flight we took when we were married. So both of us had to use seatbelt extenders for many, many years.
Yeah.
And how long have you guys been married?
7 years, almost 7
Years.
going on 7 years.
Matt rounds up, so 6.5, but yes. So the first year that we were married, Matt was given the opportunity to go back
Going to
Indiana for a training for a month. And I went with him, and we didn't book the flights then either. And neither of us had been on a plane a long time because we just had avoided it. I mean, you know, it's funny, there are things you say, oh, I just don't care to do those things because you want to own your discomfort versus like acknowledging that you're not doing things because your physical limitations are holding you back.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember we got on that plane and it was super uncomfortable. There was a third person in the row with us. You know, you kind of pray that there's not a third person in the row with you.
Never happens these
but there
days.
was. And that was super uncomfortable. And so we were there for a month, and I remember the whole month Matt and I were just dreading the plane ride back. But how do you get home, right? Like you just have to get back.
We actually talked about renting a car and just driving back cross country.
Mm-hmm.
We were that.
And our own expense versus letting
Yeah.
the company pay for it. Like, so, I mean, we could go on for days about how expensive it is to be overweight, but we won't. But I was just thinking after that, so the decision, we didn't fly for many years, but then the decision when we did have to fly was that we were going to book 3 seats. And we, you know, you have to call the airline, things that people don't think about. You have to call the airline, you have to have the discussion with them. But then if we had 3 seats, then we were comfortable, and we were both still using seatbelt extenders. And so it was only in
Phoenix was our first one that we didn't do that.
Phoenix was the first time. So in November was the first time we just booked 2 seats because I didn't need a seatbelt extender after convention in the summer.
July.
Yeah. And so, and then, but it was still something. So it's only been recently that we haven't had to worry about doing that or calling the airline. And, you know, and then when you get back, if there wasn't a seat, you have to get reimbursed, all kinds of things. And we what we've realized, I think, is that we love to travel. But we
always have.
Right. But we were avoiding a lot of things because it was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And worrying about different things in that way. And so, you know, I think it's just a huge win, but it's one of those things that makes you realize how much of your life you just put up with. You just deal with the complications of whatever life gives you. And that's one of the great things about this last year is that we have been able to take control of things that we were just putting up with.
Hey, that is so powerful, everything that you said. I kind of want to share a little bit about Matt and Jenn's past year. You guys are going to be blown away. Like this Matt just, I don't, let's start with Matt first. And then we're going to go to Jenn's. We're going to reveal Jenn's. But when you see this, Matt, like what does this bring you, like floods of memories? How do you feel when you see all of these months put together the past year?
You know, for this last year, it really brings kind of an empowerment. I never focused on myself ever growing up. It was always about focusing on my career or materialistic things or wanting the perfect marriage and having kids and all kinds of things. It was never about taking care of my personal and mental and physical health at all. And it got to the point where that beginning picture there on the left was, and there's the dog. Welcome to our FedEx and Amazon delivery addiction that just showed up. So anyways, that picture, Toby, enough.
Come here.
That picture on the left was 36 years of never focusing on me. And so I was miserable at that point. I was to the point I was ready to either be done with this life or try to go and do weight loss surgery because that was the only option I thought was ever going to be available that would actually possibly do something, and which is ridiculous because I know the horror stories of that. And Jen will talk about that here in a minute. But I was just lost and didn't feel like I could progress any further. And so when I finally reached out to my friend about this amazing opportunity with this program, I still was in complete disbelief for many, many weeks that anything was actually going to be possible. And she asked me when I signed up, unbeknownst to my wife, I didn't even tell her, I just did it. And she asked me what my goal was. I said, well, I would love to lose 100 pounds in a year. I said, 100 pounds is not realistic at all. I couldn't do it. I said, no. I said, I would count this a win if I could lose 40 pounds in a year. And she just kind of, she knew the power of this opportunity and this program. And so the month went by, I followed the plan. I struggled a little bit with it at first because I just kept putting it off. I let the box sit on the kitchen floor for a couple of weeks, went to the doctor, and he's like, Matthew, I'm putting you on insulin. You're out of control with your health right now. So if you don't do something, you're getting the prescription next time you see me. And so I'm like, no, I've got a box at home. I'm going to open this up and get started and try it. And I owe it to myself. I paid for it. It's here. I might as well do it. I had every intention to send it back the first month. And I actually had the paperwork. I had figured it out online, what it would take, because I knew it wasn't going to work. And so it was about towards the end of the month, it was time to reorder again if I was going to keep going. And I hadn't got on the scale. I knew what my weight was from before. And so I finally did. And I was down 39 pounds in the first 27 days or something. And so that was huge. And then, of course, you're still in disbelief because you're like, no, that scale's broken. That doesn't mean nothing.
Yeah, of course.
And then it just kept kind of going on. And then month 2 came and went, and I was full of energy again. I was up and moving again. We were starting to be active I was getting active around the house, where it was starting to drive Jen nuts. She would still, at this point, she hadn't joined me on this journey. But I was getting active and wanting to do things and had been pushing to sell our home for several months before this. And so I was kind of moving forward with that a little bit, where I was doing projects around the house again, and I was preparing different things. And then towards the end of month 3, well, it must have been month 2. But anyway, Jen and I decided, okay, we're going to sell the house. And we moved. And then at the same time, we had a vacation plan that we had been planning for 2 years to Hawaii. And so we pushed the vacation 2 weeks because the house sold in 3 days that we weren't expecting. And so then we were in a whirlwind to get everything moved, get everything changed, to get ready for vacation. So we basically got here, dropped everything, went on vacation for a week, and we had a blast. But the difference was I had the energy to get up and go and do things. And Jen felt like I was leaving her in my dust because I wanted to keep going and keep doing. And she wanted to go do like our normal vacation where we go spend 2 or 3 hours going out for breakfast, go shopping, go do something, go back to the hotel, go to the pool, take a nap, go back out for dinner. And I didn't want that. I'm like, no, I have no interest to go back to the hotel. Let's go explore. Let's go do something. I've never been here. And she was like exhausted, I think. I don't know that she had much of a vacation because I drug her around that place to keep going. And she came home, and that's when she's like, okay, get me on this, order the box. Let's do this. And I kind of ignored her at first because she was not necessarily not supportive at the beginning of this process. But she went around and basically told our entire family, Matt's going to be eating vegetables and doing completely different, and he's going to fail at this. And I don't know how to handle that. And because in previous years and in past experience, that's what would have happened. Anything I had tried or said or whatnot would have just caused more of a rift between the two of us, and self-disappointment with myself. And it just continued to allow me to slip into a dark, deeper, depressed state, which was new for me. I mean, I have never really battled with depression too much as an adult or ever. But the year prior to this one, so right before I started this, I was in a pretty dark, deep place and wasn't even aware of it myself at that point until one day, before even starting this. I'll back up a minute. I remember rolling over in bed. Jen had gotten up and was in our bathroom getting ready for work. And I said, hey, I do not feel like I'm going to live but a few more years. I feel like I'm sick enough. My health is poor enough that I don't think I'm going to be here. And Jen didn't say anything. You could tell when Jen is irritated or upset or emotionally shocked by something, because she just gets very quiet. And so I knew that kind of scared her, and to the point enough where she didn't even say anything to me. I mean, she didn't respond. She finished putting on her makeup and getting ready, and she left for work. I mean, it was that much of just shut her down. And so that's kind of when I realized, oh crap, this is serious. This is more than I'm just overweight and I can't go on. I was feeling like I was shutting down, and I was accepting that and letting go of all the hopes and dreams that I had wanted. And for even before that, I realized I was limiting myself. I had gotten comfortable with things, and I was okay with things out of desperation because I had to be, or I was going to continue to hate myself and hate my situation and whatnot. So really, by finding this, and then by having some success early on, and then going on this vacation, and then having Jen join me was huge. I was doing great up before then, but you're still dealing with other outside influences at that point. I mean, Jen would still eat her pint of Haagen-Dazs ice cream or Ben and Jerry's every night or whatever it was. And our routine was eat dinner, relax for a little bit on the couch, go up to our room, watch TV for a few more hours, eat whatever we were eating in bed, go to sleep, restart the cycle again the next day. And so she continued that the first couple of months while I was doing this. And so I had the determination and knew that I didn't want whatever she was eating, and I was okay with that. But once we came back from Hawaii and we both got on the same page, it made it even that much easier, where the temptations weren't there. That wasn't the mental thought process I had to fight with every night, seeing her have something or go for something. I didn't have to fight that anymore. I didn't have to go, oh, that's okay that she can have that. I don't need it. I don't want it. I didn't have to even have that conversation with myself. Mm-hmm. And that's when things got real. And that's when things got easy. And so having the support this last year from my wife and from our mentors and our coaches and all of that is what has allowed that number to get so big in 12 months. And that was January 28th. So a couple weeks ago at 276 lost in a year, which is amazing. And then I noticed, so this month I've got a lot of other personal things going on that kind of has opened up because of this journey over the last year. And I'm still nowhere near my goal weight. And people keep asking what that number is. And to be honest, I don't know. I've never seen myself as an adult at a normal size or at a size that I feel comfortable in. I don't even know what normal size would be for me. I don't care. It's about feeling comfortable to the point where I'm okay with me, and I'm not there yet. And so this last month, with these other changes that have kind of come up with myself, have not necessarily been a stumbling point, but the progression has slowed down a little bit this month because my stress level has been through the roof. And I've had some other decisions I've been having to make about career and finances, and whether we're going to sell this house again that we just bought. And there's lots of big things going on. So it's been a huge, huge year of lots of changes, lots of wins, lots of realizations of different things. And I wish people could somehow justify and see the mindset change, because the weight just happened. The program works to drop the weight, but by dropping the weight, you start dropping the barriers and the walls and the preconceived notions that everybody builds up to keep themselves safe. And so it's been an amazing year, and I'm looking forward to going forward this next year and many years after this with whatever that brings. And
So I just kind of want to speak to the mind. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
To the mindset piece. Last night was Valentine's Day, and I grew up, and my parents were committed to date nights and, always did things for Valentine's Day. And so when we got married, Matt never wanted to go out. ever.
Mhm.
Like, that was never a thing. And he, was not big into celebrating things. So yesterday he got back from his trip, um, and he was tired.
Yeah, I was exhausted.
but we went out and we went to dinner, and then we were kind of out all night, and I was just thinking, these little things that instead of spending every night kind of sitting in front of the TV doing nothing, we've been able to grow in our marriage so much because we are out and having those conversations and planning and dreaming, because we weren't dreaming. I never, when I did, totally called my mom and said, Matt thinks he's going to eat vegetables. And I don't know what I'm going to do, because I had been trying to get Matt to eat vegetables for years, and he wouldn't do it. The only vegetable, I don't even know if it's a vegetable, potatoes. That was all, like, potatoes and corn. By the way, none of which he's eaten in the last year. He's eaten no potatoes and no corn.
And I don't even want them.
But we had tried, and so I wasn't in any way trying to shame and say he couldn't do it.
Right.
I didn't know about this either, by the way. I had no clue she went and told the rest of the family this until much, much later.
It's because I was scared for you. I was scared of, you were in a dark place, and what are you going to do if this doesn't work? And I was really, really worried about that process. But we couldn't, you get so stuck. You get to the point where you can't even dream of your husband eating vegetables. And that it wasn't a matter of, I don't believe in Matt, because I've always known Matt could do anything he sets his mind to. I just thought his mind would never tune into that place. But as he's gone on to do, is that once he tuned in, he has made it work.
Unbelievable. I love that point of how you guys together, that support. Okay, we're just done with Valentine's Day. Like, really though, that is the true love story right there. Like, it is just so adorable. I just have loved watching you this past year, both of you. I want to, Jenn, tell us just a little bit more about your side of the story. Like, when you joined in after the Hawaii trip, tell us more about that.
Okay, so I'll give you a little more backstory. So I've been overweight since I was 9. And in 2007, so about 13 years ago, I actually had weight loss surgery. I had a lap band put in. And I think I lost about 20 pounds and then gained it all back and more. And went on to be malnourished for many, many years.
And it still causes problems today.
Yes, it still does cause some problems, but not as often. And so when we were in Hawaii, frankly, I worked a very stressful job at the time and was super, super stressed. And I just wanted to go and relax. And I even remember on that trip, there were 2 moments where I thought something has changed. One, I was just laying on the beach, right? Isn't that what you're supposed to do in Hawaii? I was just laying on the beach. And Matt was like, come get in the pool, come get in the water. And I'm like, dude, what happened to just laying on the beach? And like, so like his energy was so high that we were going and doing other things. And then we went to the Polynesian Culture Center. Now this is somewhere that I had wanted to go for years. And so this was like my thing on the list. This was not Matt's thing. So we had gone, and I didn't have the energy to enjoy it. I was just so tired, and exhausted and physically uncomfortable.
Well, and before I started this, I wouldn't have been able to do that walk. I would not have been able to walk around that park we were there for 8-9 hours. Wow. It wouldn't have happened. A day to walk into Costco and back would put me down on the couch for a day or two, because I would have been exhausted and had to recover from that. So to walk the miles that we were at that, I wouldn't have been able to do. So
well, and it was my job to do the walking in our relation. You know how we have unassigned jobs? Like, I was always the one who went in the store and picked up. Matt was the driver, and I was the one who did the walking, always. And there was no budging this ever. And so it was kind of amazing. And I think, was it just before that or just after that? I started the plan. it was actually, I got to the point where Matt was doing the plan and it was so much easier than what I was doing. And I like would come home and Matt would make me dinner. Like he's very sweet and he would make me whatever he was having, he'd make enough for me. And so I had lost a little bit of weight while we were going through that process over the, what was it, 4 or 5 months. I had lost about 25 pounds just from eating less potatoes and corn, and more vegetables. But I was looking at, oh, he just gets to eat this pre-done food. And I'm like, I don't have that. And I would go in the cupboard and I'd be like, oh, nothing looks good, right? I think everyone goes through that. Nothing looks good. Right. And so when we came back, I told Matt to order it. And I think it took him a week. Where I was like, dude, how do we do this? Like, let's get going. And I waited the first week. I weighed myself the first week and I don't think I had weighed myself for months. I had been to the doctor before Matt had started the program because we were working on some fertility stuff. And I knew that weight. I had weighed 415 pounds, but we didn't buy scales. We didn't look at scales. Scales were not kind things to us. Mm-hmm. And at one point, we didn't even have scales that would weigh us at home. So that was a whole nother factor. But we went into this and I weighed myself the next Monday morning because I started on a Monday. I got on the scale for the first time after the first week and I had lost 16 pounds that first week. And in my serene kindness, I opened the door. I think Matt was still asleep. And I said, what kind of voodoo magic crap is happening? He's like, what do you mean, honey?
Magic crap.
Yeah. And I said, that one. Right. And I said, the scale says I'm down 16 pounds. And I was like, and I'm like, but that can't be real. So what did you do to the scale? Right. So I'm like, what did you do? And from there, I mean, success breeds success. And so feeling like I could control something that I had given up hope in controlling, not that I had never tried, because I had tried, but that I had given up hope because I had tried so much and had so many failures, that success was just empowering. And so then I just, just did it. And it was, a lot of people say, well, what tips and Matt, and we just do the program and it works. And when we've gone through, we have loved, on top of that, we've loved the Habits of Health transformational system. It's made a huge difference in our life. I had maybe told Matt to go to therapy many times.
So not to go to you.
Yeah.
Like, you're a therapist. You had to find another therapist to go to.
You can't do therapy on your husband. That will never work.
Not if you wanted to be a good Valentine's Day.
But no, I just encouraged him. And he had told me for years, I don't need therapy. And I was like, okay. And he might have used the term psychobabble crap a couple times. That's as strong as our language gets, is psychobabble crap and voodoo magic crap. So we're serious when we say the word crap around here. But we had gotten to the point where I had started going to some of the community meetings. Because I was a little worried about why all these women were talking to Matt. And what was this? And I would be in the other room watching TV, right, which was my habit. I was in my habit loop. I wasn't even aware I was in my habit loop. I just was.
Right now.
And Matt's habits were changing, and he was getting on community meetings and talking about different things, and he was happy and he was loving it. And I think I really kind of wanted that, but I didn't want to say I wanted that because it sounds weird to go to meetings, right? That's what weird people do. I don't know why I thought that. That's a completely irrational thought.
For your job, you run those meetings, so that makes a whole lot of sense.
Yes. But I remember going to the meeting with Matt, I think it was in May. So the very first month they started. And we had gone to one near here, and they focus on positive mindset, and things that I had been trying to tell Matt for years, and every wife knows what I mean, for years, he was starting to pick up, and he'd come home and he'd say, "Did you know this?" And I'd be like, yes, I did. We did know that.
Being married to a therapist is definitely a joy.
A joy is the only right response to that. But going to that, and we have gone through a lot. So one of the great experiences I've had in the last year is I've dived into the habits of health. I actually, I won't say I got stuck, but I got awakened. So that'll be a better word. So when I was going through, I think it was the third element in the life book, and they talked about healthy surroundings, and they give you this opportunity to rate your surroundings. And I did rate my surroundings. And the rating was not positive.
Which the husband had been telling her for many years.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's 100% true. But because I was in my habit loop and I wasn't ready to change, and I wasn't awakened to what was possible. So change wasn't something we seek. When we don't think we can be successful, we don't seek it. Right. And so I was very much in that mindset. But as I rated that, and I had to be honest with myself, and one of the questions was safety. Now, I don't have any concerns with safety in my home, but in my work environment, I had a lot of safety concerns. And that's where Matt's concerns was. About 2 weeks after I started the program, I had actually been attacked. So it was a huge, huge thing to deal with. But it's gone to the point where this year I've actually changed jobs. And it has been, and my only goal for changing jobs was I just wanted a healthy environment. I just wanted to get past element 3 because I felt like I couldn't move forward till I had gotten to this healthy environment. And then in changing jobs, I realized how many of my habits were tied to my unhealthy environment. So it's been this huge, they talk about some elements, you could breeze through them, but some hit deep, and they make you really look at your life. And this is one of the things I love about it. And it can be a life-altering experience if you let it be a life-altering experience. And if you take it seriously, and
I think that's the key, is if you actually plug into this system, and for whatever reason it is, whether it's for the weight loss like I started, or it's for the transformation of the mind, or the finance, or whatever you're looking for in life, be whatever it is, if you actually plug into all the elements and take the resources and run with it, it works. We're living proof of that. We didn't do anything special. We get asked hundreds of times a month, what's your secret with this? What are you doing? And we're just want to be able to be open and share this opportunity that we wish we would have known about 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And because it's changed our lives so much. But you have to be open to that. You have to be willing to plug into every part of it and not pick and choose it, and not say, oh, today I'm not going to do it. Because the consistency is what actually makes it work. If you're consistent with it, you're going to have success with it, no matter what you do in any part of what you're looking for. So, and then it overruns other parts of your lives. I mean, it's what we thought was going into it as a diet and a weight loss thing has completely changed us, every aspect of our home, of our marriage, of our work environments, of our community and our friends. And
I did the math. I did the math. So, we talk about in the program, we talk about the trilogy, right? So yes. We talked about 3 things. So one of the things that I will share is that we talk about healthy finances, and Matt and I have started coaching, and we love health coaching. We love coaching other awesome. People. It is our favorite thing to do, to check in with our clients. But Matt and I both work professionally full time. So when you talk about healthy finances, in the last year that Matt's been on this program, just our salaries, we're not talking about health coaching at all, our salaries have raised almost $30,000 just from becoming better people. So when we talk about that and people are like, oh, do I have to coach? No, but by tying into the program, by becoming better people, I got a promotion at work that I had been 6 months before had been passed over for. And then eventually realized I needed to be in a better place, and was able to go to even a better situation with a better salary. Matt has been realized for his skill and been acknowledged for that in ways that are benefiting our life. And so when you think about this, the trilogy is not about, oh, you have to live, breathe, eat, sleep, Optavia.
Yeah.
The goal is that you have to live, breathe, eat, sleep, healthy habits. And when you do that, the blessings come. And they come because you get out of your own way. And we were very much in our own way. And we're very blessed in that way. And I don't say that to be prideful in any way, but when I think about the trilogy and when they say, oh, our goals, you know, some people are like, they don't want to talk about healthy finances, or they don't want to talk about healthy mind, or they don't want to talk about healthy body, or whatever reason. By tying into it and just doing it, you know, it's been a blessing in all those ways in our lives. And plus now we have this great community that we love and enjoy, and get how seeing other people go through that transformation and start to be awakened to what's possible for them is great.
And then you start realizing your priorities shift too.
Mm-hmm.
My priority was always the career and the house and like things I mentioned before. And now it's like, does any of that matter? Do I even care to do that? Do I still get the same fulfillment out of my career that I've worked my entire life, spent millions of hundreds of thousands of hours perfecting and doing, and I'm really good at? Or do I care about that still? Is that still an important thing to me? And then, of course, we're finding there's got to be the balance because, yeah, we still need to pay the bills. We still need to enjoy what we do, but that's not the only focus on life anymore for either one of us.
Well, we have the freedom to ask that question.
Right.
What
we
really
now don't
matters.
have to. Right.
That's the key. I love that. The freedom to ask that question and create what you want.
Yeah. And that all started with someone else being willing to share their transformation, which is why we love sharing ours.
Yeah.
I just like my heart is gonna burst. Like this is what it's all about right here. And just to hear, you know, the transformation of what you thought you were getting into, what you thought you wanted, and just how that has evolved. And just I mean, maybe there's somebody watching today, you know, that can relate to some of these things that you're thinking about. Maybe it's a seatbelt extender. Maybe it's being in the place of depression, that you know, that you experienced a couple years. Maybe people that have done weight loss surgeries, or, you know, I mean, there's just so many things here. But I think it comes down to if you're ready for a change, if you're open to that. Because I mean, major props to you guys. I mean, all the credit to you guys of you were open enough. And I know the resistance was there sometimes, Jen, right? Like it was like, no, but you get to a point where sometimes that door is cracked open just a little bit, right? And it's like, if you are willing to just explore that and just see, it's just incredible, the possibilities. And so anybody who's watching, or, you know, anybody that this video reaches that has that little bit open, I think that's who we're really talking to right now. Is it's okay if you're okay with your life. It's okay if you're completely happy with where you're at, because you're living it, you're doing it. But when you're open for a little bit of change and you say, what can that create? Open to that possibility of what could I create? That's when the magic happens. And I mean, I just cannot give you enough credit and love and support. And I'm just so happy for both of you. Like the truest love story of them all right here. Just absolutely love it. I just thank you so much, you two, for coming on and sharing your heart. Is there anything else that you need to say?
The only thing I was going to say is we've always had a good marriage. The entire time we've known each other, the entire time we've been married, it's been good. This last year, it's been really good. It's made us grow more open with each other, more honest with each other. We can have rough, tough conversations with each other and not come from a place of hurt or a place of feeling like we're going to be disrespected with each other. And so it's really allowed us to connect on a much deeper, more intimate, more everything level where we feel safe and we feel okay that we were allowed to be vulnerable. I was never vulnerable with my marriage, with life, anything ever, because it wasn't a safe place. And so by doing this together, by being open and curious and honest with each other, it's allowed us to become stronger and to be more in tune together with what each of us want out of life and what each of us can offer and all of those type of things. So it's like I said, when we talk about transforming, I could care less about the weight loss part of it.
Yep.
That then yes, I love it. I am so super grateful for it, but that's nothing to do with what it's done for us and what it's done for now the people that we're helping and the people in our lives. Our families are transforming huge amounts just as much as we are, and we want to be able to continue to share this with other people, and that's the only reason we post as much as we do and we talk about as much as we do. And it's actually creeps into every aspect of our lives, every type of conversation. It comes up everywhere we go, and very organically. It's not like we're trying to go out and sell anybody anything. It just, this is who we are, this is what we're doing, this is what we've done, this is what you can do if you want to do it. And so it's a very empowering and very successful, and it's an amazing thing that we have started, and we'll continue to bless ourselves and others around us for as long as we are on this earth, because it has been amazing for us.
Which will be way more than 5 years.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Wow.
No.
Just beautiful. Thank you, you two, for sharing that.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Chantel, for giving us a chance to share our story. We appreciate you and our community, and that's we love the community. We love that people are so supportive and that we can share with each other in the ways we do.
Absolutely. Totally cheering you on.
Thank
Thank
you.
We'll see ya.
Bye.
Bye.